My father-in-law is being catfished and he refuses to see the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
My father-in-law, who's in his 60s, told me and my husband about a woman he matched with on a dating website over the summer. She had her own company, worked overseas, and was planning on coming back to the US in 2 weeks. He had not Skyped or even spoken on the phone with her yet, just sending pictures back and forth. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Catfish 2020, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Savannah.
And I'm Vincent.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And Opie says, he told us her full name, so we Googled her. And absolutely nothing showed up except people with the same name who had passed away years ago. You would think that if she had her own international company, her name would be somewhere on the internet. We were immediately suspicious, and my husband warned him about catfishing and not to give anyone money from the internet. He said he understood and would stop talking to her if she asked for money. I doubt he did that, so we left it alone and hadn't heard him talk about her for a few months and figured it had fizzled out or he had figured out she wasn't a real person. In hindsight, I should have asked him about it before now. He had plans to visit us for 2 months, and then he surprised us the week before by saying this woman is going to meet us too and he'll pick her up from the airport. He even showed us her flight itinerary. Then the day before he leaves, he says she's unable to leave the country and he'll explain when he gets here.
Wow.
That's not fishy at all.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you don't understand. She had to meet up with the prince of...
The chancellor
The
of her work.
chancellor of the world.
I'm going to also throw this out there, too. He probably bought the tickets.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
Or sent her the money to buy the tickets.
Would say that's probably true. So I finally asked him what happened with her flight and whether it was canceled. I don't even remember what he said, but he made a comment, saying he had invested a lot in this woman already and wasn't gonna just let things end. What do you mean invest? Do you mean emotionally or financially?
Oh, no.
I was thinking he meant emotionally invested, but my husband asks, how much money have you given her? He says, 50.
Oh, no.
50 what?
Oh, no.
Says husband. I also said that though. $50,000. What?
Bro, you've gotten got.
Baby, what are you doing?
I gotta write this down. This is juicy stuff.
Someone take this man's bank account away.
$50,000 on this woman who you don't even know is an actual woman?
We were both shocked and horrified. Turns out he had been paying small sums of $1,000 to $2,000 over several weeks and months, and it sounds like he was paying for her apartment, which he claimed was $800 per week, sending it to some guy in the US who would deposit to her. It was some elaborate story about how even though she has a company and contract worth $20 million, she wasn't able to access these funds and needed him to send her money. Yeah, that sounds super real. He doesn't even have $50,000 to give. So he took out a $20,000 loan from a sick relative. Wow. In the process of being scammed, this guy is also scamming other people.
And himself. He's putting himself into debt.
This is the MLM of scams. We told him this is a scam, and this is exactly what scammers do. He hadn't even video chatted or talked on the phone with this person. He said, well, I told her I can't send her any more money, so all I can do is see what happens next. Dad.
Let it go.
He's
It's
still
not real.
Yeah, it's not real. My guy. He still didn't believe it was a scam. My guy. I didn't know what to do next, whether to contact the FBI or sit him down and go through all the pictures and documents she sent him to prove it was fake, since this was still actively happening and he was still texting her. And we've got an update, but oh boy, this is bad.
Hello, my name is Gerald B. Featherbottom III, and I need advice from OK Storytime.
Okay, Gerald, what do you need advice for?
Well, my extremely wealthy biological father has just passed away and left his entire inheritance to charity.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice!
To charity! All I have left is $20 to my name.
Oh, I see. Well, Gerald, you should invest that $20 into a ticket to the OK Storytime live event.
A live event? Whatever do you mean?
May 23rd. Live OK Storytime at the Stray Theater in Hollywood. Go to okop.show to get your tickets. They're only $20, and we'll see you there.
And will you get my inheritance back?
You will absolutely not be doing that.
Goody!
May 23rd.
Yeah, you're done for, old man. I hope you can get that money back, but I really
I doubt
don't.
it.
He's not going to get it back. And my heart breaks for him because he's lonely.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Old man.
I mean, he wants love, and he thought he found it, but he found a scam artist. We spoke with him tonight for over 2 hours about this. My husband went through each document and pointed out how it looked fake, including a document where the city she lives in was spelled wrong.
Oh my, come on.
Yeah, that's tough. We tried a reverse image search, but it actually didn't show up. And he had a variety of pictures of her, so I'm thinking it's someone's photo that they had access to. She sent a picture of her license and passport and still couldn't find the time to call him on the phone. After an hour of pointing all of this out to him, I asked him, "Do you think this is a scam?" He said, "I'm 50-50 on it right now." No!
He's $50,000.
I'm about to give you 50-50 slaps in the head until you figure this out.
Guys, this is just going to get worse with AI
Oh, yeah.
because then you can't reverse image search things
No.
anymore. You know, it's just going to be like, we're going to create a brand new
Yeah.
photo of an alter ego.
I mean, if people are already falling for scams that are very obvious like that, yeah, I can't imagine the amount of scams that are going to be out in the world when
Created
AI
by
is,
AI.
Yeah.
That's why we get off the internet
Yeah.
and we live in the real world.
Do it. Off the grid.
Yeah, you guys should get off the internet right now.
Except not this internet. This one's good.
We'll never be AI.
We're not AI.
He still thinks it's a real woman he was talking to and just that he got caught up in a bad situation. So we kept talking for another hour. One thing that is concerning me is that she asked him to create an email account for her, and I don't know why she would do that. He also had bank accounts and PIN numbers she gave him archived in his Google Hangouts, but he suddenly deleted them a few days ago by accident. I said, "Do you remember actually deleting them or pressing a button?" Said no, he was looking for them and all of a sudden they were gone. I think she has access to his emails and deleted those chats, and I'm also wondering if she could have access to his computer. He paid her about $50,000 total, the first $30,000 in money orders sent to a man in the US, and then $20,000 in Bitcoin. He took out personal loans from a credit union to pay this person and needs to start repaying the loans next month. He literally only stopped because he ran out of access to money. The loan from the relative was $12,000, not $20,000 like I said before, but I'm very concerned because he's actually taking care of her financially and has access to her accounts. He's stealing.
Oh, no.
I asked him explicitly if he verbally asked the relative for this loan and she agreed to it. He said he asked her to loan him the money and she knew it was to help out this woman. By the end of the conversation, I had reiterated several times, this is a scam. Do not give this person any more money. This is not a real woman you are talking to. We are going to file a report to the FBI through ic3.gov tomorrow. I'm glad he's staying here with us while he's going through this, but I'm still not convinced he believes she's not a real person. And by the way, we're real people, and you can listen to us speak on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. But there is a second update, but oh boy.
I don't even know what you do after this. Like, how, because you can't get that money back, and I don't even know how old this man is.
I don't know either.
60s.
Is he retired? Does he work?
Doesn't seem to have.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have money, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
Pretty bad. Update 2 says we told him not to talk to this person anymore and not to try to play games to catch her in the act. I woke up this morning to find out he had been texting them and trying to get them to admit how much money they took from him. He still thinks it's a woman he is romantically involved with. I said, I'm going to stop referring to this person as a she because this is not a real person and is probably a man. He got very defensive when I said that and also cried a bit when he talked about how lonely he's been over the past few years. We are waiting to file a report when my husband gets home.
This poor man.
Yeah,
I
this is
feel
just so
bad.
sad.
I feel so bad. He's just this like 60-year-old man. Just like, I've been lonely and this has been my only source of happiness. If I have to pay for it, then so be it.
Let's take you to freaking dating nights.
Like, yeah, like take him for dating night or like, you know, like if that's what's gonna make you happy. But like the thing is, it's not your money that you're spending now. Like I could like see if maybe this is something like, you know, I'm into this and they ask for money, I'm gonna do it. I have the money to spend. Like, cool, if that's just what you want to do it. But he doesn't have the money and now he's stealing from the relative that he's taking care of and, you know, all this. It's just it's become a big mess now.
Comments. OP says it was a little daunting to file an FBI report on their website, so we wanted to communicate with the person on the phone first. We spoke with their fraud specialist, and we were all on speakerphone talking to him. He reiterated that this is a common scheme that has happened to people all over the country. He emphasized that this is absolutely a fake person and most likely a man, and everything they told him it was a lie, and to cut off communication immediately. He told us the next steps of what to do. I thought it was super helpful to have a professional say the same things we did. And then later after the phone call, my father-in-law said I told her it's over, and if she wants anything from me, she needs to show up at my doorstep. And inside my head, I'm like, no, you're still not effing getting this is all fake and not a real woman. I mean, I don't think there's anything that you can do to make him realize that, but at least he, is cutting it off.
He had all this hope, and he invested so much into that hope, and now it's gone. I don't blame him, but also he's going to need to get over it. That's rough.
Yeah, I just feel bad. He's just lonely. But the thing is, you can't buy love, old man. You of all people should know that. True. I feel like that's like a thing that old people say.
It is a thing.
You know who says that?
Who?
The Beatles.
So true.
Everybody tells me so.
But that's the end of that story, folks, and we've got another one coming right up.
I pretended to understand my job for months. Now I don't think I can fake it anymore.
Fake it till you make it.
For context, I have a master's degree in something completely unrelated to this job.
She's got a theater degree.
Those always come in handy.
Oh, yeah.
I got hired because I interviewed well, and apparently fast learner on a CV is legally binding. 8 months in, and I've been surviving entirely on confident nodding, strategic use of the phrase, let me circle back on that, and a browser history that is just Stack Overflow, and what is word my boss just said. Me. By the way, this comes from Ahimao1. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. As Opie says, the issue is that until now, the stakes have been low enough that vibes could carry me. That era has ended. There was a meeting on Monday with actual numbers and actual questions. My boss just told me I'm leading it in a tone that
How do you think I learned how to produce?
He had no idea what.
I did it. I had no idea.
He figured it out.
That's what I'm doing. Comments. Door knock 922. Now's the time for a promotion. Fail up. How do you think anybody gets the title director? Walken fan says, I agree. I've been here 10 years. I still don't know what I'm doing, but by a glitch in the system, I still get a paycheck. Okay, this is so funny how everyone's like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm getting paid for it, so.
Who am I?
Update, guys. The meeting ended a few hours ago. Here's what happened. To many people who told me to be honest with my boss, I want you to know I read your comments, respected your perspective, and did not do that. Many asked about the nature of my work. I am a data engineer at a mid-sized logistics company in Germany. Those words just went in and right out.
Now, this is computer stuff. I don't know if you can fake this one.
She works with data. She's like, I don't understand money. I don't understand numbers.
See, if it was something like, I don't know, what could figure out how to produce in a little bit, but that sounds like you need a degree in it. How did you get this, OP?
She said she was a fast learner. And in Germany, that they take that as the Bible.
Take that literal.
If someone's there and is willing to mentor you, I think go for it.
The project was building an end-to-end data pipeline that ingests real-time shipment tracking data from about 14 different carrier APIs. Think FedEx, DHL, a few regional ones. Normalizes it into a unified schema in Snowflake, and then feeds a dashboard that our operations team uses to flag delayed shipments before they become a customer complaint.
OP, okay, actually, I don't think you should do this unless there's someone that wants to mentor you because you could really mess up. They're basically working in a transportation service where they work with shipments.
Oh, no.
And think about things that are getting shipped off of boats onto trucks to the factories.
Oh, no.
Well, they have to keep up. Like, there's a lot of information. They have to organize it in a certain way so people know where to put certain shipments to other places.
Uh-oh.
Sean, tell me if this is right, but that's what I'm reading here. Yeah, so think of people that need medicine, that might need, IVs.
Oh, no.
Blood transfer. Yeah.
The part I presented was the transformation layer. Basically the bit that takes 14 completely different data formats that all call the same thing different names. One API calls it estimated delivery. Another calls it EXP DLV DT. One just calls it when.
When?
Like an actual psychopath, and makes them agree with each other. It all turned out to be more complex than that, but whatever, I won't go into details. Here's what actually happened. Over the last 96 hours, I slept maybe 12, consumed about the same number of Red Bulls, watched maybe 15 hours of YouTube tutorials, and brutally, can't understate this, mistreated my ChatGPT and Cloud.
Yes! Claude.
You have access to AI and you still haven't figured this out. Okay, there's no excuse.
They're working on it.
But still, beforehand, she still had access to it.
They have
and she was like,
96 hours.
Dude,
That's
you-
so much time.
yeah, you got it, dude.
Hope he's doing great.
Many times I thought I should just come clean to my boss, but then I would open this page and your comments would give me confidence that I was built for this. By the way, this was built for you guys to ingest and listen to full episodes with full episodes of stories just like that. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app, and just search up OK Freaking Storytime.
I think it's gonna end up like one of those show like tropes where a person works really hard and they're like, I can do it, and then they just like fall on their face.
They're like, yeah, so explain transformative data intelligence.
I hope he just goes,
Let me put on my glasses. According to ChatGPT.
The actual move that saved me was going into that meeting with 3 very specific questions prepared. Not answers, questions. Thoughtful, slightly vague questions that I directed at the senior engineers in the room. Those dudes talked for 40 minutes out of 60. Out of a total 60. At the end of the meeting, my boss stopped me and said, "This is really impressive work."
Oh, wow.
fake it till you make it, baby.
I do that. Like, I would do that in like the, well, no, not here.
Oh, not here? You don't want to do that here?
I don't. No, I'm saying like when I would be in like the when I did the dinner theater, like when people would like ask me questions, like because they'd be on to me because I'd be like the or whatever, they would be on to me and I would just ask them questions because people love to talk about themselves.
Always ask questions when you don't know the answers.
So I'd be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I do this." "What do you do?" "Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Wait, how'd you get into that?" "Wait, do you know this person?" I know how to make conversation.
That she does.
I said, "Thank you. I've been thinking about this for a while," which is technically true because I thought about it for 96 hours straight without blinking.
Nice.
After the meeting, I went to the bathroom and sat on the floor for a little while. Ew.
He's like,
But why on the floor?
she's having a mental breakdown.
Once I got back to my desk, my boss came up and said he wants me to lead the Q2 project.
Stop it. No way.
So, to answer my original question, do you come clean or keep going? You keep going, apparently. You keep going until you either actually learn the job or the whole thing collapses, and today it did not collapse. So here we are.
Good luck, OP.
Honestly, John and Sam told me it doesn't matter how talented you are. It just depends on if you like to work hard, learn hard, and then also have critical learning skills. And that's how I've advanced to this. And
It's true.
if you have that and it seems like you do, OP, you're going to do great. You're doing great. Yeah.
You'll do fine. You got this, OP.
Turns out I just have a great personality.
That's why you're hired.
That's all you need.
But that's the end of that story.
My cousin announced my Taylor Swift ticket as his wife's gift without my permission.
Don't touch my T-Swift ticket.
I, 17 female, recently got Taylor Swift tickets for her Eras tour. Now, as you probably know, it was very difficult to get these tickets, and I actually waited 5+ hours in the Ticketmaster queue to get them.
Weren't they like minimum $500?
I don't know.
I have a story about this.
Yeah.
One of my cousins, he was super young and he saved up his money and he bought these tickets to the Taylor Swift, but he didn't tell his parents.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a tough one.
So what, so he couldn't go?
Yeah, they didn't let him go.
Yeah, rough.
Oh. I've loved Taylor Swift since I was 2 years old.
That can't be true. No, I'm kidding.
My cousin John, 28 male, recently got married to his wife, Jane, 27 female, and I attended the wedding with my parents. By the way, this comes from Vigilante Crap 13, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. As he says, at the wedding, another cousin of mine asked me whether or not I got tickets, and I excitedly said yes. John overheard and pulled me aside and asked if there was any chance I'd be willing to give my ticket to his wife, as she had also tried to get tickets but didn't manage to get any.
Sucks to freaking suck. Hope you waited 5 hours. Get off her back.
I said that I had waited a long time to get my ticket and that I didn't want to give it up because, as he knows, I love Taylor Swift and I'm really excited about going to the concert with my friends. He seemed disappointed, but ultimately walked away, and I went back to my table and thought nothing of it. Then John and Jane had their first dance. Oh, that was at his wedding?
Yeah, he's asking her to gift his wife something at their wedding, and she's like, no.
No, I already gave you your gift. It's in that box over there.
Yeah.
Now, your gift is a toaster.
Mm-hmm.
I got you new doorknobs, huh?
You're welcome.
Which was to Taylor Swift's lover. At the end of the dance, he got the microphone and told everyone at the wedding that I had so kindly decided to give Jane my Taylor Swift ticket as a wedding gift.
Oh,
No.
you did not. Oh, you did not.
That's so rude. I would have been like, actually, no. I didn't agree to that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. We're doing lies now? I didn't know that was on the menu. No, I'm not saying anything in the wedding. I'm waiting until after. And then if she comes up and says like, oh my God, thank you. I'd be like, yeah, there's been a misunderstanding. I never said that.
Bold move. Yes, I'm grabbing another ticket for you, and my brother, I'm just the one getting them, but my brother's the one paying for them.
Yeah.
So he can't deny it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Flip the script. I don't know if that works.
He's paying me $1,000.
He's paying for the ticket plus $1,000 finder's fee.
Mm-hmm.
Jane started crying and said I was the best cousin ever and that I had made her wedding day 10 times better. I stood there in shock and asked if I could speak to her in private, but she brushed me off, and I tried to talk to John too, but he ignored me.
Well, of course he's going to ignore you. He's not going to give it to you.
My whole family kept coming up to me and saying how mature I was for giving my ticket to Jane and how it was the perfect way to welcome her to the family. I told them that I never said I would give her my ticket and that I was planning on keeping it and going with my friends like I had originally planned. Word got back to John, and Jane actually started sobbing, saying that I was selfish for not giving her my ticket and that since I hadn't gotten her a wedding gift, the least I could do was give her my ticket.
Literally crazy.
How about I waited the 5.5 hours to get these tickets and I got them and they're not for you?
Yeah.
Also, how about don't be mad at me. Your husband lied in front of everyone to corner me into doing this.
Mm-mm.
I stood my ground and said that I did not owe her anything. John then said that I had already seen one of Taylor's concerts before and that Jane hadn't, so it was only fair that I give her my ticket. No, that's not fair! In what world is that fair?
You know what's fair? Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. I found these tickets by buying them.
I said that I understood it was really frustrating to wait in that queue only to not get tickets, but that it wasn't my job to make sure Jane did, and that if they were patient, the scalper prices might go down by the time of the show, and she might be able to get tickets then. John screamed at me to leave and said that I had ruined his wedding.
Oh my God, these people are crazy.
Are you actually like kidding me? I would have been like, you guys are psycho.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah,
Have
these
fun
people
living
are crazy.
in your little fantasy freaking world.
Shoo.
Some of my family has been messaging me saying I'm selfish for ruining Jane's wedding and that I should have waited until after the wedding to tell her I wasn't giving her my ticket. Doesn't matter. You could tell her then, you could tell her later. Like,
she would have had the same reaction.
yeah. Others, including my parents, agreed that I had no obligation to give up my ticket. I hate conflict, and a part of me wonders whether I should have just let her have the ticket. So, am I the a-hole?
That's what they want, girl.
Yeah.
First of all, they wanted to corner you, as Vincent said, into giving them the tickets by telling everyone that you were. And then when you were like, no, they wanted to make you feel bad so that you would give the tickets to them. Don't fall into their trap. They're manipulating you. This is what you do before we get into the update.
Yeah.
You go to the concert, you take as many pictures as possible, and then you post them all on Instagram. And you say, I'm having so much fun at the T Swift concert. Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm here.
I'm so glad I worked so hard and saved up so much money and did the time to get the tickets.
Also, I hate everyone that's married.
Also, anyone who recently just got married, you suck.
Who may or may not be my blood relatives now.
Also, if you got married and your name both starts with J, I don't like you.
And there we go.
Now to the update. I listened to you all and told my parents the severity of some of the messages I'd received from some people on that side of the family, and they were furious. They didn't realize how bad the messages were until they saw them, and my dad reached out to John and said that he was out of line and that he was disappointed that his own nephew would do something like this to his daughter. My mom told my aunt and uncle that unless I got an apology, their entire branch of the family, which were the main people giving me a hard time, would be uninvited to our annual Christmas party we host at our house each year. By the way, you can join us every day by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just search up OK Storytime. I'm going to say, hey, John and Jane, and OP doesn't deserve this at all, and also doesn't have to give away her own tickets.
No.
Also, they were probably so freaking expensive. The fact that
Probably
he's like,
$500.
oh, yeah, like, she's giving them away.
Mm-mm.
That's hilarious. That's actually so funny. So funny that you did that to yourself.
Pretty ridiculous.
John didn't really say anything back except that he wouldn't apologize for trying to do right by his wife. Jane, on the other hand, did end up getting tickets at face value.
So she got them anyway. So what was all of the hullabaloo about?
So they're both pricks.
Yeah, I hate them.
Ticketmaster sent out a way for some fans who didn't get tickets to be able to request 2 tickets to the show they were unable to get tickets for, and Jane ended up getting 2 tickets and posted about it on Facebook with no mention of what happened at the wedding. I'm hoping that since Jane got her tickets, she's over it now. John is very stubborn and can't seem to ever admit when he's wrong. So I doubt I can fix that relationship, which honestly makes me sad because I really don't want any bad blood between us. I saw that this has made it over to TikTok and I've got a lot of love and support from there as well. Thanks again, everyone. This has been one of the most difficult situations I've ever found myself in, and I really would have had no idea how to navigate it without you all. And that's
and there
the
you
end.
have it.
And Storm Kitten said they didn't want to spend the money. No, they didn't want to spend the time.
Yeah.
Because they spent the money.
They spent the money anyway. They just are lazy.
And the fact that they're gonna like ruin an entire family over this, dude, it is not all about you. Some people, I don't understand how they can like feel so entitled to be like, oh, that's my wife's ticket. No, I said no. Like what? But that's the end of that story. And we got another one. I asked I think it was yesterday I called my dad because it's his birthday like next week, and I wanted to get him a new phone case because I got him like a leather phone case that was like monogrammed and stuff, and he loved it, and now it's like falling apart because he's just used it for like 2 years. And so I was going to get him a new one, but he's up for like a new plan and could get a new phone. And I asked him, I said, which one do you have? He said, I think -3.
That's not a real one.
I said,
That doesn't exist.
I was like, what iPhone do you have? He's like, -3.
That's not right at all.
It was really funny, and turns out it's a 13.
My conservative family blamed my piercings for my failed marriage.
What? My piercings? Dude.
My mom is one of 14 children, and she moved here to the U.S. near a major city with her family when she was about 7 or 8. They're from what is known to be a fairly conservative place in the world, and they have always followed a very conservative religion, to the point that most of my aunts and uncles only married people who were from the same country and or people from the same church. By the way, this comes from throwaway and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and OP says, out of all of us in my generation of the family, my cousin, let's call her Marie, and I are the only girls. She's about 2 years older than me, and I have a lot of fond memories of us as children. I felt that when we were younger, we both doted on by the whole family, like we were little princesses. As I got older, I started to realize Marie was the golden child of the family. She was and is naturally beautiful, tall and slender, has lighter hair and eyes and skin than me. She was a talented dancer, and she was kind and devoted to our family's religion. I had a harder time. I was always a bit more stubborn and more plain than Marie. One thing I was good at was singing, and my parents put me in singing classes. In those classes, I made friends, and through them, I got into our city's punk and hardcore scene. I even ended up singing in a punk band. Sick.
That's really freaking cool.
Very cool.
I also sang in a band.
In a punk band?
I wouldn't say it was punk.
That I'm not
I'm a rock.
interested.
So you were in the nerd loser one.
What, Vincent? What do you have to say?
I already said it.
Whatever.
For the first time in my life, I was making friends outside of my cousins and church, and I was really having fun. I know it probably sounds very corny, but I started to change my clothes and appearance. I started dressing more alternative, and I got facial piercings and lots of tattoos. I felt like I finally found a group of people who weren't constantly judging.
Yeah, it's been flying all around here.
Bug.
Bug.
Oh no.
Slippy bug. Oh,
man.
Everything just fell apart. Just
Oh man, I just this oh no.
Oh man.
This is so it's like stuck.
Oh, it's behind here.
I felt like I finally found a group of people who weren't constantly judging and criticizing my every thought and action, and I love the music scene and the people in it. Marie's dad, my uncle, started to not let her hang out with me as much, and eventually not at all, because he associated my style with substance and booze and atheism and communism. He's like, oh, you can't hang out with her anymore. She's a boozer and a druggie and a communist. Yeah. I was sad when Marie couldn't spend time with me as much because of that, but it was out of my control. I never really got to talk to her again after that. After a couple of years, Marie got married, and she ended up having 3 kids and was living her own life. I also got married and had 1 child and decided that was enough for me. I'm sure most of you won't be surprised when I tell you that Marie and I both ended up in very bad marriages. Why would I
don't know why that would be.
Why would I not be surprised?
You're both living very different lives, so I don't know how these can be compared.
Also, like when people get married, we just don't assume it goes poorly.
No one in our family had ever been divorced before, so it was a surprise when Marie told everyone about divorcing her husband. A year or so later, I also left my husband and started to talk about the same things I'd been through. My mom had a weekly Zoom call with her siblings at that point, where they could all talk and spend time together during the vid. My mom told me one week that Marie had announced that she had started seeing a new man and they had gotten engaged. What? You found those out at the same time that she was dating someone new and now engaged? That seems like that probably wasn't that long of a relationship before she got engaged.
What's the timeline?
We don't know exactly.
Very quick, though.
Okay.
I had also started seeing a man around this time, but I wanted to let Marie have her happy moment. She got married about 2 months later.
She's pregnant.
But she has 3 kids, you know? Not that you can't just like get pregnant again, but I feel like when you have 3 kids.
Some people be cranking out babies.
And a bit after that, I came to my mom and told her about my new partner, thinking she would share it with her siblings like Marie's dad shared her new engagement. Instead, mom told me to not tell anyone about it because they might think that I deserve what happened to me.
What?
Essentially, she was saying because I looked alternative and my family's perception of that I might have gotten divorced because I was dishonest with my ex-husband and that he was justified in the event that ended the relationship. So basically, she's saying that because OP also got into a new relationship fairly soon after, that she was cheating.
What?
Yeah. Basically, like Marie found a man so quickly because she is more traditional.
Yeah.
And she hasn't found a man quickly because she looks more punk and alternative.
That is crazy.
I think punk alternative people are cooler than normal people.
Also, Marie is engaged now. That's a way faster timeline than OP's.
Yeah.
Obviously, this hurt me a lot, especially seeing how Marie was treated so well and with so much joy by her family after her divorce and subsequent relationship. I ended up accidentally overhearing her on her Zoom call with her siblings, and they insinuated that my alternative lifestyle brought me to that point, that my piercings and tattoos, plus leaving the church, made me inappropriately masculine.
Inappropriately masculine is a crazy sentence.
And I was
What does that
essentially,
even mean?
I don't know. And I was essentially being punished by God that I was not submissive enough.
Right. So now it all comes back to religion.
Marie is literally on the same path, if not going a little bit too fast right now. And no one cares about Marie because she's the golden child. My mom did not disagree or defend me. That hurt me so deeply I cannot describe it with words. Now recently my partner and I have gotten engaged and we are planning our wedding. I need a timeline because right now in my head this is all taking place within a year. And this is crazy to me. Tell me that that's not true. I have no desire to invite my family after everything they said about me. My mom is quite angry with me and believes I need to forgive them and give them another chance. I told her if she and her siblings thought I deserved to be mistreated while being ecstatic for Marie finding a kind husband, that I no longer wanted anything to do with them. They're all currently very mad at me, but I truly don't want anything to do with them at this point. Should I be the bigger person here and forgive them? Am I the a-hole for not including them? And we've got some relevant comments, but what do you say?
No, I don't think you're the a-hole at all. These people are the a-hole for making you feel like you're less than just because you have different interests.
Yeah.
Just because you're expressing yourself in a different way, they're like, the devil's in her. Get it out. Get it out. And it's
We
like,
could see all of the devil's marks on your piercings.
no, I just don't really align with that belief. And also, I don't know. I like the way I look.
Yeah.
Sorry you don't agree with my happiness, huh?
I want to know, like, this is just kind of a historical question, but were there any, because piercings tend to be very tied to different cultures and stuff. So I am wondering what culture you're from and what religion. And then also, depending on that, I want to know the history of piercings in those cultures.
Yeah.
Probably say that they existed before you.
I don't know. My one friend is super, super religious, but there's like different, I don't know, some people believe differently.
Yeah.
Like they pick and choose what they want to believe. And so like she has like a bunch of tattoos, but like other people would probably be like, whoa, that's a sin or something.
Is it even in the Bible?
I don't know. Some people I feel like just,
I'm gonna look that up.
I just looked up a thing about when I was talking about the pill bugs, when I was like looking at the roly-polies, and then one of the like, you know how you like look at like the other questions that like come up and then you like press on them and then you can like see more. One of them was like, what does God say about insects? And I was like, huh? And it was like touching or like eating and touching certain bugs is good, but then other bugs, if you touch them, you're like cursed for the evening. What? I've never heard that.
Interesting.
So I don't know. Now I have to ask Riley.
The Bible does not explicitly forbid or allow tattoos for modern Christians. While Leviticus says, do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourselves, I am the Lord. This was to distinguish Israelites from neighboring cultures practicing pagan mourning. And the New Testament does not mention tattoos. Christians are not held under Old Testament ceremonial laws.
I also, just like you reading that, I like the idea that the rules, when they were written down, they're just like, don't tattoo yourself, said the Lord. Or what was the last thing it ended with?
I am the Lord.
I am the Lord.
No tattoos. I am the Lord.
Friday nights are forever pizza night. I am the Lord.
I am the Lord.
That's what I'm going to do when I have kids. I'm just like, tonight we go to Chuck E. Cheese's. I am the Lord.
I am the Lord. Well, I mean, he did low-key he said, don't work Sundays. I am the Lord. Party day Sunday. I am the Lord. So there you go, folks. If you want to get a tattoo and you're Christian, you're good.
Or if you want to make any rule or tradition, just say, I am the Lord.
Anywho,
My lord.
relevant comments. Debbie Coleman says, not the a-hole. And if they think so little of you, why would they want to go anyways? OP says, I've wondered the same thing. I think like a lot of people here are saying, it's that they're afraid it will make them look bad. But also because they're not used to being told no about anything. My family has always found ways to insert themselves into everyone's business. Weddings for us are usually lasting for a couple of days, and often the entire family is receiving some sort of gift, so that might be a factor. I think my mom's main concern is that they will be angry with her. There's also a chance that their community isn't aware of my divorce, and having both my cousin and I divorce could negatively impact their overall image as well. Visual Lobster says, not the a-hole. So what did Marie do to deserve to be divorced by her ex-husband? And OP says, it pains me to say, but Marie's ex-husband was a different ethnicity. So my family was already hesitant to accept him, but he converted and he had a very good job and was from a wealthy family, so they accepted him. Marie also was a stay-at-home mom, which was something I was judged for not doing. Sadly, when the truth came out, it just reinforced my family's racism, and they didn't blame her because of that. And Shelley says, have they even apologized? Why should you forgive anyone who hasn't apologized for hurting you? OP says, no, they have not. And they likely never will. I don't think I've ever heard any of them apologize for anything, even to their peers. Unfortunately, behavior like that is fairly common in our culture, especially as elder family members. And we've got an update 3 weeks later. Any thoughts?
If they really have a problem with you, just go low contact. Be like, hey, listen, I'm just going to go do my own thing. If I'm bothering you so much with me expressing myself and being like, you know, respectful towards you or whatever, just being who I am.
Yeah.
It's not like OP's like going out of their way to be like mean or aggressive or negative towards their own family. Like OP is just like, I'm literally just living my life and I found people who I agree with, who I want to like, you know, continue seeing. And it's just like, nope, they look weird.
Just an issue.
They're people who don't believe in what I believe in, so I don't like them. And that is just so wrong to think.
I would definitely like don't go out of your way to see them, but like they're still family, so I get like wanting to still have them in your life. So low contact is good, but also like really call them out on their racism and
Yeah.
stuff. Show them that ugly mirror of what they're doing. So that's the way they're gonna actually change is if they become ashamed of it.
It's funny that they're super, religious and like isn't the whole thing about like accepting everyone, like love thy neighbor, whatever, blah blah. But then they're also
we don't know which religion.
But they're
Most
also
religions
just super
are like- yeah.
racist.
Most religions have a measure of being kind to other people.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I feel like religion is supposed to bring people together, but all it has done, in my opinion, is separate people. Because then you have this group, you have this group, you have this, and the other thing. And it's like, I don't know. I wrote a whole paper on it in college. You had to like do your opinion, and mine was, does religion cause more harm than good? And I had to like do like a whole thing on it. My teacher was like, this is actually pretty good. I said, thank you.
Update for anyone who cares. We took the advice of some of the comments here and eloped last weekend. That's such a Dakota advice right there.
What?
Secret wedding. We called up a couple of friends and took them along with some of my husband's family, and we all took a trip to a little resort town a few states over. We did a small courthouse ceremony and spent the rest of the time just hanging out and enjoying each other's company. It was perfect. It felt really good to share the moment with our found family rather than just making the whole thing about ourselves. I started secretly moving my things out of my parents' house a few weeks ago, and I'm planning on going no contact, at least for the time being. I left my contact info with a trusted family friend in case anything important happens, like my parents getting sick or some emergency, so that I can choose to make myself available to them in the future. I wanted to take a second to answer a couple of questions I got asked and provide a bit more context. Why was I even spending time with them to begin with, and why did I think things would be any different now than in the past? Well, when I left my ex-husband, the pandemic had just started, but it had not yet become the massive life-changing thing that it eventually did. I needed a place for my child and I to stay while we figured out something else, but my industry was majorly affected by the lockdowns and it never really recovered. So I stayed here. Midway through all of that, my grandma got sick and it was clear she wouldn't be here much longer. At the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, I committed to staying with her in my parents' home because I still wasn't working like before. So I helped her and spent time with her in between her home health team being with her. My grandmother was not the nicest person, but she had grown up in a war-torn country and witnessed a mass unaliving that took her loved ones from her. And mental health care was still so stigmatized then. I guess I never blamed her for the way she was. And I know she regretted a lot of decisions she had made in her life. By the way, you will not regret listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Generational trauma is a heck of a thing.
Yeah.
It's real. It's tough to like forgive them, but I think looking at our parents and our grandparents with like empathy, that like, oh, they didn't get the help that we were aware of.
Like, it's a privilege that we have all of the things that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a major thing, and looking at them with that lens will help you sort of lose some of that anger energy you might be holding on.
No use being mad at a passing away old lady. I know she meant well and she just wanted the family to get along. The rest of the family would visit her at our house and they were never overly kind to me, but they seemed cordial enough, and so much time had passed that I thought maybe the way they viewed me had changed. It had not. And now I realize that they just didn't want to cause Grandma any extra stress in her final days by being cruel to me in front of her. I'm thankful they did that for her, even with everything else that happened and was said. Finally, I know a lot of people felt like it was obvious that I wasn't really in the wrong here, but when you grow up a certain way, it's hard to remember that some things that seem normal to you are not normal to everyone else. Thanks everyone for your kind words. I appreciate them all. And that is the end of the story.
Christina's right. We did break Sophia's arm.
They broke it.
Hey Ming Ming, I don't think racism is generational trauma. I think generational trauma could potentially lead to it.
But I think more so OP was saying that she like just treated the family not well, and she was a little bit more understanding because she didn't have. I think that was more her point.
Ooh, can I give some context about the piercing thing?
Yes, actually. I said we need to ask Riley about it.
So this comes from the Old Testament called Leviticus. And the Old Testament in Leviticus, this is where God is giving his people, the Israelites, a lot of rules so God knows that his people is different from the other people. And then that like,
I read that part out loud already.
you already read that part?
Yeah, it was like she found it on Google.
Yeah. So basically, like, what God's trying to do is, like, let Jews know what other Jews look like. Because during this time, there was a lot of things God saw unholy from other people and other, like, religions where, like, they weren't, like, doing right things. So he was like, okay, don't do tattoos. Don't eat pork because you'll die because you can't, like, just a lot of precautionary things, like even wash your hands before you eat. So this is one of the rules. So, like, if you tattooed yourself, other Jews would probably think you're from another nation or, like, another thing. So they may not recognize who you are. So they're like, don't do it. And now today Christians look at it as like, oh, God will abandon you if you have tattoos, when it's like, that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
They're supposed to just be following the New Testament.
And that is why Jesus came from.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's like Jesus' whole thing.
That's his thing, is like, follow Jesus, because Jesus went against a lot of what things in Leviticus said.
Jesus was heavily tatted.
Who is Leviticus?
Leviticus is a book. One of the things Leviticus was like, don't work on the Sabbath, and God healed a blind man on the Sabbath. So he would go against things from the Old Testament. So it's interesting seeing Christians just doing whatever the church tells them and not actually researching it.
Yep.
Savannah loves it when I talk about this stuff.
I kind of do.
No, Sophia loves it. She's like, yay, Riley, keep talking about it. I'm so interested.
I am interested.
Oh, really?
I love talking about religion.
Oh, I was just picking. I thought you didn't like it.
No, I love
I was
talking
just
about
picking.
religion.
Well, see, I will tell you, I was very, very against religion at like one point in my life. And it was because my friend like just started getting into religion. It was like everything, like changed her whole personality, changed all this. And I was like, who are you? You're not even my friend. And so like, I like took that like jab at like religion, saying like, oh, like I don't really have my friend anymore because she started doing this. And it was like a really like hard thing for me.
Yeah, usually if you change your life for Christ, you should become a better person, not just like
Well, I mean,
like a fake person.
Literally exactly the same. It's just she was like being really. I remember I took her into like we had a class period. I took her into the bathroom and ripped her a new one.
What did you do to her in the bathroom?
Ripped her a new one.
Okay.
But that's the end of that story. And we've got some comments from the video. He wants I want a divorce. And this was posted May 31st, 2025. TLDR from story 2 in this video. OP's wife, Victoria, is sweet and loving behind closed doors, but the moment they are around other people, she puts them down, makes fun of his jobs, and cracks jokes at his expense. The worst part, OP is the one working 2 jobs to support them both, while Victoria doesn't work at all. He has tried bringing it up before, but she always brushes him off or changes the subject. Is she just cruel, or is something else going on beneath the surface? If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video. And we've got some comments.
She's so jealous.
Ave Muse Mage says, I feel like everyone sucks in story 2, but it sounds like they're working it out. From what I remember, yes. And I Write Speeches says, I was kind of thinking maybe at least one of her friends is a bit more resentful of men, and she was attempting to please that friend by making negative comments about him, since it only seems to be an issue around her friends. I'm actually glad that it turned out to be her insecurities, because doing it to please a friend would be a much worse reason. Not that insecurities is a good reason either. Hopefully the behavior ends, but that doesn't solve the core issue. She needs to work on her insecurities so they don't become a problem again. Being hormonal with those issues could definitely trigger more problems. She should talk to a therapist ASAP. Comment 3 from Dora House. Second story, I think, the bit about being afraid to leave or cheat because she can't have spicy sleep while pregnant. Oh, honey, you certainly can have spicy sleep while pregnant. I mean, it was a little uncomfortable towards the end of my first pregnancy, but during my second pregnancy, it was some of the best in my life. Okay, thank you. Sometimes those pregnancy hormones make me very eager for spicy sleep. Well, there you go. That's the end of those comments.
Learn something new every day.
And also the end of the episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and
see you tomorrow.
Hey, don't leave yet. We've got some stories that we think you'll enjoy, so stay tuned for the next one.
I refused to continue providing free childcare to my stepdaughter because they don't respect me.
Respect my authority.
I did a work program with a local clerk of the court's office when I was in high school. They hired me when I graduated, and I had my 30 service years before I turned 50. With 30 service years, you can get your full pension at any age. By the way, this comes from user PainComfortable8891, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I worked until my first grandchild was born. Then I retired to be grandma daycare. I have 5 grandchildren. 8-year-old male from my stepson, 7-year-old male from my son, 5-year-old female, and 18-month male from my daughter. That is 4. So, I babysat all of them with no issues or complaints. I still keep the 18-month-old Monday through Friday and the older ones summer and school holidays. My stepdaughter and her boyfriend have been nonstop drama since before the baby was born. When she was 10 weeks pregnant, they presented a 3-page list of rules for when I was babysitting.
3 pages.
They said if I didn't sign it, they wouldn't allow me to babysit. I said that I understood their need to do what was best for their baby, and I assured them that there would be no hurt feelings on my end when they made other childcare arrangements.
So OP was like, that's cool for a different babysitter. I'm
Yeah.
not going to help out.
They're like, hey, you can go ahead and do that whenever you want when it's not me. So some of the rules were almost understandable, but most were downright ridiculous, and none of it was going to work for me.
Oh, I'm so excited for these examples.
Yeah, I don't remember them all, but some examples are, I can't take the baby anywhere without their permission. I can't watch more than 1 additional child while babysitting. I can't cook. I had to provide the full name, date of birth, and address of any potential visitors ahead of time for their approval of the person being around their child. They have to know anytime I have a guest over and know who it is and how long they stay, which honestly, that seems normal. My 9-year-old cat would have to be kept out of the rooms where my baby would be, even when the baby wasn't there. I couldn't get another pet without their agreement.
Real quick. Overbearing, some may say. Overbearing,
Yeah.
some may say. However, it is your child.
True.
And so if that is what you want, feels valid. Also, if OP doesn't want to abide by those rules, that seems also valid of like, that's too much for me. I don't have the capacity to follow all that.
Yeah, you just
so
say,
like,
hey, you feel free to
probably
find
a
someone else.
different sitter.
When she was 7 months pregnant, she came back with some revised rules in an attempt to compromise. I again let them know that their expectations were just not going to fit within my life and they should just find another childcare solution. 2 days after my stepdaughter went back to work, she called and asked if I could keep Cullen the next day, which I'm assuming is the baby. I agreed, but made it clear that I was going to provide safe, appropriate care according to my judgment, and I wasn't going to deal with the complaints or whatever that I was violating their rules because I wanted it very clear that I was not agreeing to any of that. My stepdaughter was okay on the days she picked Cullen up and dropped him off. I felt like she was interrogating me every time she picked him up, but it was tolerable. Her boyfriend, however, was downright rude. It got to the point where I actually spent Sunday dreading the start of the week because of dealing with both of them, but especially his behavior. At minimum, he'd pick up Cullen, make a big deal of partially undressing him, make at least one snide comment about my cat, or if I had any grandchild over besides the 18-month-old, or if I had cooked or whatever, which is weird not allowing the cooking.
I don't get that part.
I think if it's clear, if the child has an allergy or potentially could develop an allergy, that's one thing. If they have food allergies, that's one thing, but like just being like no cooking.
No, you can't cook in your house.
Maybe they just know like grandma sucks at cooking. That might be,
Like,
that might also
my
be a
child
thing.
does not want your cooking.
Then he would say, I guess we don't have any choice but to put up with this for now. Or I guess you are happy that you won. This went on for 4 months. I spoke to my stepdaughter several times about it and told her that obviously they are very unhappy with how I cared for Cullen and that they should really work on finding something else and that in the meantime, he needed to be less vocal about it. It would get better for a day or two, and then he'd start again. It all came to a head as Thanksgiving was approaching. He was very verbal about the fact that he didn't want me to keep all my grandchildren over the break.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch. Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
I made it very clear that there would be a couple of days that I had all of them and that they needed to make other arrangements if they had a problem. They didn't make other arrangements. And when he picked Cullen up on the first day that I had all my grands over, he was very rude, and although nothing happened, everyone was happy, clean, and fed, and they had a great day. He said to Cullen that he was sorry that they had no choice except to leave him in an unsafe situation to be neglected.
Oh my God. And now they're bringing the kid into it.
Hey, knock, 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 knock. Hi. Get a different arrangement, dude. Hey, get something else if that's how you feel. So I called my stepdaughter that night, relayed to her what was said, and told her that she had 2 weeks to make other arrangements and that she needed to drop off and pick up Cullen during those 2 weeks. And if her boyfriend came to drop him off, I would refuse to keep him. And if he picked him up, I would not be keeping him again.
Put the camera on me. Put the camera on me. Zoom it. Okay. Someone on Reddit with actually healthy and communicative boundaries. Yes! I love to see it. It fills me with joy. Fills me with joy.
It's
OP,
joyous. It's
you are
a joyous occasion.
Inspiring after all these stories of unhealthy boundaries.
Boom.
Porous.
Boundaries set. So things were better only dealing with her. At some point, she asked me if I would keep him until January because they found someone, but he couldn't start until then, and I agreed. She picked Cullen up and dropped him off, and everything was fine. New Year's Day, several people sent me a screenshot of a post her boyfriend made on social media about how thankful he was that they were finally able to leave Cullen without worrying about his safety or him being neglected. He didn't outright name me or accuse me of anything specific, but anyone who knows us knows I was keeping him, and the post implied plenty.
Wow.
I was just happy it was over.
Wow.
Like, okay, so trash. This guy's trash. That's a
So
trash thing to
he
do.
essentially,
Someone who's
like-
taking care of your kid. And if you really feel like that, then it's on you actually for keeping him in this situation. Hi, this is your fault. All of this is your fault then.
This person went out of their way to take care of your child because you couldn't figure that out. That's not on you, but you couldn't, and so you needed someone to take care of your child and be uncomfortable with your passive aggressiveness the whole time. And then after the fact of this person going out of their way to be kind and to take care of your child, you're gonna publicly out them essentially, or allude essentially.
Not even like low key
to
too,
them
because
being
they weren't named outright. It was just like like I'm so glad. It's
more
like,
just more
you know,
passive aggressiveness. But
just,
now it's publicly online,
subliminal.
and then also wild accusations of if he actually used the word neglect.
Yeah, exactly. That's
not something you just play around with, those words.
So I was just happy that it was over. Friday, she called me and said that their new childcare provider had told her that Cullen wasn't a good fit and that she couldn't bring him back Monday. She asked if I would start keeping him again. I told her that I was sorry for their situation, but I really don't feel comfortable keeping him. My husband and stepson both think I should watch Cullen under the agreement that Amanda drop him off and pick him up because they think her boyfriend is the big problem and that I should just do it for Cullen's sake. My stepson also commented that I'd probably be more willing to let it go if it had been a conflict with my daughter's husband. My pension is about $4,000 a month plus continuation of my health insurance. That's about 40% of our take-home income, if that matters. Am I the a-hole for refusing to start watching Cullen again? I would say no.
Not at all.
Alex would also say no. We have some relevant comments. Let's get into them. Commenter 1, not the a-hole. No, you shouldn't put yourself through this, quote, for Cullen's sake. Cullen will get cared for regardless. There's no need for you to set yourself on fire because your stepdaughter and her boyfriend can't behave like normal human beings. Your husband and stepson are welcome to offer free childcare and put up with this treatment if it's important to them. But you've done your time. Learn from that experience and don't let yourself be put in the same situation again. Commenter 2, replying to this, for real, she is an ideal grandma and deserves a lot better than whatever this is. OP replies, I don't know about ideals, but my mom was my rock, and her helping with my kids helped so much financially. My kids had such an amazing relationship with her. I wanted to do that for my children and grandchildren. Does OP's stepdaughter and the boyfriend earn enough to have a parent stay home with their child? OP says they make roughly the same salary, so doubt they could afford either to stay home, and I doubt that's what he wants. I don't meddle in their affairs, but they seem to spend a lot of money relative to their salaries. I really don't know what goes on in their house. She and I aren't close, so she wouldn't confide in me if there was a problem, but I don't think he's abusing her. Looks like your stepson should find a new babysitter then, given you're always showing so much favoritism to your biological children. OP says he is the oldest. I literally retired to watch his child for free. I could have just kept working and waited until my biological children had babies if that was how I felt. Yeah, that was a ridiculous comment. How is OP's relationship with her stepdaughter? OP says my stepdaughter has lots of very big emotions when her dad got serious with me. Her parents had been divorced for years, but were still angry at each other and didn't exactly co-parent well at the time. I was unfortunately the person she lashed out at the most. I worked in the clerk of court's office and took lots of free evening family court classes. They are such a great resource and so many people sat through them, court ordered, but completely disengaged. I've had lots of practice and professional help setting behavioral expectations and boundaries with her.
It shows. You
Truly.
are a model for us all. I loved.
Professional.
Joyous to hear you setting healthy boundaries.
And Alex, we have an update.
Please.
Let's dive in. The mic just uppercutted my chin. Okay.
Damn, that's what happens when you dive in.
Sorry for everyone who heard that. Poof. Okay. Update. First, let me just address the common suggestion that Amanda's boyfriend is purposefully sabotaging their childcare to trap her at home.
People make wild.
Yeah, look, we all get on our conspiracy theory train. Right?
This
Every
is
once in a
people
while.
on Reddit.
They make roughly the same amount of money and can't afford to lose half of their income. So I seriously doubt he wants her to stay home. Second, I would never tell my stepson to find someone else to watch his child because of a simple difference of opinion. My grandson and I have a very close bond. He's the oldest, and it would break my heart and his if he didn't come spend his holidays and summers with me. Plus, he's a huge help with the littler ones when I have them all and things get hectic. I would never be so petty as to make him and all my other grandchildren suffer because of an adult disagreement. So I sort of asked around about why they were dropped by their new sitter so quickly. Apparently, they weren't.
No.
I see you in the chat.
my
I see
heart.
you in the chat.
My heart.
Amanda picked up Cullen and dropped him off both days he went, and everything was lovely. He did cry quite a bit, but they expected that to get better as he adjusted to not being held as much. My husband and stepson talked to Amanda, and she said that they realized that they can't afford daycare. They already made the, quote, easy changes, like packing a lunch and giving up fancy coffee, and his dad and her mom are both giving them about $100 a month towards childcare, and they can barely afford it. But they didn't realize that you have to send everything the baby needs. I buy diapers, wipes, formula, bottles, extra clothes. They just hand me the baby. They didn't realize that daycare didn't cover all of that. Also, imagine her boyfriend's surprise when he found out what the staffing rates are in this very expensive daycare. One adult cares for 5 infants. I guess he thought that someone would provide one-on-one care, diapers, wipes, and formula for $350 a week. My stepson relayed their almost apology. They felt overwhelmed by an infant and couldn't imagine that someone else could manage that plus other things. Cullen is going back to daycare tomorrow. Cullen's dad is selling his dirt bike, and Amanda is selling some designer clothes, handbags, and shoes to cover the costs. It'll get easier for them in 6 months when he transfers to the 1-year-old class, which is a little cheaper. And we have some relevant comments, but before we get into those,
Wow.
what a beautiful wake-up call for the boyfriend, and to a lesser extent, the daughter, the stepdaughter.
To know how good you had it with your grandma.
Yeah.
And how awful you were to her. And also, you lied to her because you wanted to cover your butt and be like, we're coming back, but it was not,
I think that was more for their pride
Yeah.
because it's like,
Or maybe
it just didn't work out. It wouldn't work out with their schedule.
or maybe in
instead of
like
being
negotiating abilities of like, to not acknowledge that the grandma was the only option and be like, oh yeah, that didn't work out.
Well, I think it's probably like a whole mixture of stuff. It's the money and that, and then probably also the fact that they were so adamantly like, you can't be watching any other kids. And then they realized that every daycare, multiple kids are watched by one person. And they're like, oh, so I'm going to have to pay, $500 for this? With plus, and I have to provide all of the baby materials.
You know who the real villain in here is?
Babies.
Capitalism.
Oh, I mean, yes, capitalism.
If you could just let people take their babies to work, problem solved.
If we could let the babies work.
Oh, now you're on to something.
And now we're solving 2 problems at once.
Make the babies work, and everyone else retires, and we just have baby workers.
And the babies are working, and then the retirees are just carrying the babies.
Oh, okay. So they're caring for the babies as the babies work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and watching like YouTube brain rot.
Yeah.
To be clear, we do not support
We
child labor
We do not.
on this podcast. Okay.
explicitly.
Okay.
That was a joke.
To make it clear, after the bit, post bit. All right.
Post bit fallout.
Post bit clarity. We don't support child labor.
That was
Next,
hilarious.
relevant comments.
Wow.
Let's
The
go.
post bit clarity hit hard.
Commenter 1, good on you, OP. If your husband brings it up again, tell him he can pay for his grandson's childcare as you had been publicly accused of neglect and will not take on legal risk for caring for Cullen anymore, which is facts. OP, we agreed when they were cutting up that he wouldn't give them any money towards childcare. Commenter 2, so not only are they myopic and ungrateful and condescending, but they're also dishonest. Amanda lied to her stepmother when she told her that they had been asked to leave, that it wasn't a good fit, and their last day would be Monday at the daycare. Wow, I am so glad OP didn't back down and let them bring Cullen back. OP says, I will never babysit him again. I will not watch him in a house. I will not watch him with a mouse. I will not watch him in a box. I will not watch him with a fox.
Bars.
I will not watch him here or there. I will not watch him anywhere. And I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not.
Commenter 3 asks for info. Is Amanda's boyfriend even the least bit contrite that his entitlement and unreasonable attitude has cost his family money they can clearly not afford? If not, has any of this lifted the haze from Amanda's eyes that this guy is a good partner to support her and their child through all of life's ups and downs? For
Some
heaven's sake, they had free childcare at their disposal and they doo-dooed all over OP. Talk about crapping the bed. OP says, I really can't say. My stepson and husband spoke to Amanda and possibly him and relayed the message. I haven't spoken to them directly since I found out Amanda lied about Cullen being kicked out of daycare. I honestly don't care if he's sorry or not at this point. Being sorry that you got caught and have a consequence is different than reflecting on your own actions and realizing that you were wrong and have real remorse. Bars. Let that sink in, everybody. When people say sorry just because they got caught, it cheapens the apology. Moving on. If he ever gets to that point, we can have a heart-to-heart. And where are the stepdaughter and her boyfriend's parents' involvement in Cullen's care? OP says her mom and dad both work full-time. His dad works full-time. No idea about his mom. OP can set up boundaries when it comes to caring for her grandchildren. OP says when you are providing free childcare, you can allow whatever boundaries you want.
Dang straight.
Exactly. It's
Dang
free
straight.
childcare.
Dang straight.
It's free childcare. I'm not texting anyone about a short trip to the store. If that's a condition they have, they're more than welcome to make other arrangements for their children that do not involve me.
Yup.
And that is the end of that story.
Cool.
Which
My tension was waning.
which is crazy because even though we're at the end of this story, I still have to tell you guys that you can listen to full episodes of stories like that
Where?
on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. All you got to do is search OK Storytime.
Really?
And there it is.
Like right now?
And there it is, folks.
Like right now?
You could go do it right now while you're watching this live stream. You could go on another device and stream a different episode of this podcast
I want you to double tap.
and listen to one in
If the-
each ear.
If the babies are putting in the work at their baby jobs, I want you to be able to put in your YouTube job.
At their
and listen to
perfectly
2
acceptable baby
episodes.
jobs, stacking blocks on top of each other,
Mhm.
playing with Legos,
playing with toys.
that's why once the adults go above the age of 99, they're not allowed to play with Legos anymore.
Doesn't work
So
out.
they have to get the children involved to help them play with the Legos.
Exactly. It's a symbiotic relationship. My family demands my neglectful father's presence during my childbirth. I refuse.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Is the baby coming out of you? No. Okay, so shut your mouth. Thank you.
For context, I have never had a good relationship with my dad. He lived in the same house, but was not in any way a present parent. He never showed any interest in me or my siblings unless it pertained to one of his interests, particularly sports. By the way, this comes from U-willing position 169. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to ROK Storytime subreddit. So, my parents divorced when I was 19, and he completely lost it to the point where he was having us all stop. And the sheriff personally called my mom to say she needed to be ready to defend herself at all times. My siblings were minors at the time, and he told my mom that he didn't care what it took. He would make us all homeless.
So this guy can go to a black hole and get turned into spaghetti and eaten by pigs forever, please. My God.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Let's try to hammer through this
and
this top
very
this
scary.
top note here.
Okay, we're getting through it. I could write an entire post just on that situation alone, but for length purposes, just know it was horrible. Time to be his daughter. I went no contact for around a year with him and his parents due to the fallout. Obviously, we currently do speak, but the relationship is still strained. I'm currently 36 weeks pregnant and don't know what to do. I've been trying to gently tell him and my grandparents for months that we won't be taking visitors in the hospital on the first day, and if we are ready on the second day, we will inform them. Due to my health concerns, I will be going under general anesthesia for a C-section, so I won't even be the first person to meet my baby. Pregnancy has not been a great experience for me as it was quite a shock, so my stress level for the last almost 9 months has been extremely high. Last week, my grandma took it upon herself to call me about the situation. To sum up the conversation, she tried to guilt trip me multiple times into letting my dad come to the hospital when baby is born. When, in quotes, your dad just cares about you so much, didn't work. It shifted to, quotes, it's his first grandbaby. He deserves to be there. Another standout was he can't just see her through the nursery window and then leave. I was truly stunned because he never indicated at all that he's even the slightest bit interested in being an involved grandparent.
Yeah, so again, you're not birthing the baby. Shut up and make my life easier, please.
Also, it wasn't even personal. It was their choice to not have any visitors come. And then second, they have a strained relationship with their father who made verbal threats in their childhood.
Yeah, it's like, don't want that person around when I'm in the most vulnerable position of my life, probably.
And she's already very stressed with this pregnancy and her health concerns.
Just listen to the pregnant people, listen to the people getting married in these situations, listen to whoever the event or the moment it pertains to.
Agreed.
Please.
He does call me every couple of weeks to check in, which consists of him asking how I'm doing. Then we talk about him for the remainder of the call. I did call him later that day to clarify what was said because I couldn't believe what was happening. He apparently didn't know she was going to call me, but he did eventually tell me that what she said was accurate to how he felt after some prying. However, he seemed most concerned with the possibility that I would have my mom's new husband there over him. He plainly said that he would not sit at home where he didn't know what was going on no matter what my final decision was. Okay, you don't have to be home.
Hey, Dad, here's what's going on. I'm having a freaking baby. All right? That's all you need to know. Moving on.
I must have still been in shock at the selfishness because I called him again today and he said the same thing again. I want to avoid the same level of falling out we had 4 years ago simply because the stress of having a first-time mother is already enough on its own. Him and his parents are not kind people and have spent years trying to manipulate or straight up bully me and my siblings into doing what they want whenever they want. I will say that the first time we fell out, I was in a horrible mental state and I did lash out in extreme ways. Until now, they've been somewhat scared to try it again, I guess. The only solutions I can come up with aren't great. I could either fast track the inevitable blow up this is going to cause and make it happen before the baby is born instead of after, tell them the wrong date for the scheduled C-section, lie and say we aren't taking any visitors at all until we get home, or a combination of the three. If I thought a heartfelt conversation about the past and why I don't want him there would be literally do anything, that would be my first choice. I want it to be very clear to anyone reading that these folks are the most selfish, spiteful, and straight up mean-spirited people I've ever met in my 24 years of life. So the sole reason I'm second guessing anything is because my boyfriend made the comment that he feels pity for my dad because he will be the only person not there. Support your partner. My response was that I can't help that the consequences of the way my dad has chosen to live the last 24 years are now coming back to bite in a big way. I feel pretty alone in this because I know I'm going to be spun by my dad and his parents to look like a horrible person to anyone and everyone that doesn't know what's gone on in the past. Without context, it does seem incredibly harsh, so maybe I really am taking it too far. Advice or words of encouragement is very much welcomed and appreciated. We do have an edit. I think I said what I had to say. Strategic seems to be the best way about this. There are real concerns. There are also real safety concerns involved. I don't have the best answer. I think only you can make that answer of how you want to go about it, knowing your father, knowing, his parents. But yeah,
I think
hopefully
it comes down to a matter of timing. It's like just you're fully pregnant, you're about to have a kid. It's like now is not the perfect moment for you to be like, here are the hard line, do not cross boundaries, dad who is low, like has had abusive tendencies. Like now is not the time. But in the near future, like you need to be like, hey, you're not coming around for X, Y, and Z reason. And if you want to, you say, if you want to see, if I see X, Y, Z change or improvement, sure. And if you don't want to give him that, that's also fair. You're free to set whatever boundary you deem
But
necessary
in this
for
scenario,
guy, because you have all the context.
in this scenario, like, do you have any thoughts on what she could strategically tell the dad in order to not
Well,
have the
he
worst
sounds like
fallout?
the guy where if you told him like, no, like don't come to the delivery room, like you could be like, I'm going to have like law enforcement to make sure that you can't. He would probably still show up, fight the police and get arrested. That he sounds like that guy. So I think doing the strategic, like trying to just make him at least of an issue, and your partner should be the one running point on this. Your partner should be the one running point on making your dad as little of an issue as possible. But moving forward, I mean, clearly this guy does not need to be around you or your children.
Yeah, I think a very practical thing is to talk to your partner. Say, I understand you're feeling empathy for my dad. I need you to be 100% on my side in this moment. Can you do that? And then after that, hopefully the partner is like, yes, you're right. After that, maybe have a partner conversation around, okay, like let's strategize. Like what is the best thing to do here? But I think that is really important to not be alone in this and not have to like, when you're already in so much stress,
you and partner need to
just
be on
not
the
be
same
alone.
page. Yeah.
Edit. A few clarifications as I read comments. Boyfriend is absolutely not abusive, nor is he advocating for my dad to be there at all. I was in an actual abusive relationship prior to him with that, which caused me to develop PTSD. This is absolutely not anything like that. He completely supports whatever decision I make. As a few people have guessed, he has a great relationship with his parents and does have a hard time wrapping his head around having a bad relationship with a parent. His sentiment was, it's sad that your dad has done this to himself. I can't imagine having a father like that, nor being that type of father. I was already upset at the situation, and I started overthinking / second guessing myself at his very passive sympathy towards my dad. What I meant by my dad being there was in the waiting room or in the hospital at all for that matter at this point. Nobody will be seeing me give birth except for the doctors, as I will be intubated. Baby will go immediately to boyfriend for skin to skin until I'm oriented enough to truly meet her.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOPshow/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
Both of our moms are in the healthcare field, and I have insane birth anxiety anyway, so they will serve as advocates and support people. We have given the okay to our siblings and boyfriend's dad to be in the waiting room, and they understand the possibility of us seeing all day one is very slim. At most, they may get to pop their heads in for a couple minutes, but that is not guaranteed. This has been explained to dad's family multiple times over the course of several months. Either they don't understand or they simply just don't care. Nobody else has made a fuss or expects to be there at all. I want you to be here and listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Maybe you should go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Story Time. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss how you could be here on day one of the birth of our stories on Spotify.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think she's got the support system that she needs from the partner.
And
you know,
her mom
I think,
and the partner's mom, it seems like.
Yeah, it's just moving forward, I think, because now is not the time to, I think, even though I'm just trying to think of what, because dad seems like he could fly off the handle and go nuts.
Agreed.
Right? So it's like the way to sort of manipulate him into being as little of an issue as possible, you know, and then once you're in a less vulnerable position, put those boundaries down and stand firm on those.
I don't know if she ever said she wanted to do no contact boundaries, though.
But I think you should.
Okay.
I think if you're already at a point where you're like, I don't want this guy around in the hospital when I have my kid because I don't know what he's gonna do or I don't know how he's gonna act. Like I just don't want him around because it makes me anxious. It's like you don't have to be compelled, because I feel like OP is the kind of, it might be getting compelled to have this relationship in her life again.
There's not enough context, and I would just say that parent-child relationships are so complex. I'm not going to to assume that there was a right decision here.
Well, I'll say if you do want to put boundaries up, just now's not the time.
I agree.
Now is the time to like you kind of have to scheme and manipulate, and then you know for the sake of your own life, like because you don't want him pulling a stunt at the hospital.
For everyone asking why my dad's family knows anything about me being pregnant at all, or why they're involved in any capacity, we live in the middle of absolute nowhere. Them just never finding out about it was never in the realm of possibility. My intention with involving them, if you could really call it that, was to be able to keep the situation somewhat under control. Unfortunately, it clearly didn't really matter in the end anyways, because here we are. No contact is very much on the table.
Let's go.
So you might get your boundaries, Dakota. Thank you to everyone who gave me solid and kind-hearted advice. I'm feeling very validated, yay, in my feelings, and I feel empowered to make the best decision for my new little family member, no matter who gets upset about it. Wow, maybe the internet can be supportive. Sweet.
They can. It's just, you know, you're gonna get a lot of people who aren't, but you'll find some people who are.
Some support.
Yeah.
All right.
People just love to yell and be mad on the internet. It's the
true.
truth.
It is true. Unfortunately. Comments, relevant comments. Comment number 1. Tell your medical team who you want there. They'll enforce your boundaries. Best of luck. Reply to that comment. If you have a picture of him OP, you could show it to security at the hospital and he'll never make it past the front door. Be sure to warn them that he could be dangerous. Also let the nurses know. I'm a nurse and have personally removed people who are unwanted by my patients. Last, do not tell him or anyone in contact with him the date, time, or place of delivery. Why are you even in contact with him or his family in the first place? Are you hoping he'll magically become a good person?
So most of that, really quick before you do the reply, I'm just going to preface that with a lot of the reasons for that is the small town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in the context of a bigger place, sure, that makes sense. But in a small town where everybody knows everybody, everyone knows what's going on. It's like, in my head, it's like, so you don't let him there and then he gets in like a huge fight with the security or the police get involved. And then he's still there in that small town. He knows where you live. He knows where you are. It's like, you don't want this to end up becoming a bigger event down the road because now he feels like he's been slighted and he needs justice or something. So just placate him like he's a little baby, you know, and you go, okay, here's your binky, like here's your little baby binky, little baby man. And then, you know, quietly build up the support and the foundation you need to place those boundaries there. In
long story short, get the binky. There you go. Reply. Exactly how the F would they know the hospital and the date unless your big mouths have told?
Again, these people don't know about small towns. They don't know about small towns.
But even regardless, why you gotta attack people? Just tell the hospital and all the midwives and I'm not even gonna read this comment. No, because you're a bad boy, you don't get.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? It's like a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of people who live in like New York, LA. They call the entire country flyover country. So it's like it completely like there's a lot of people out there. There are millions and millions of people who have no concept of what a small town, a small community is like to live in, and it can be borderline impossible to have a private life in a community like that. It really is. It depends. But
it
anyway,
also feels irrelevant. Like they know at this point, so who gives a crap? It's not relevant.
I refuse to help my aunt financially because she sided with my horrible ex-husband.
You gotta side with OP if you want the bling bling.
It's true. If you're either with me or against me. Okay? I am a 40 female single mother raising my 2 children. My ex-husband cheated on me and was very abusive.
Dude, there it is.
He left me for a young woman when I was 26. I, by myself, worked hard and came up to the position where I am now. By the way, this comes from user personal platform 2585. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I'm currently earning 6 figures and doing well. So the background story is my family didn't support me during my divorce, though they were well off, and I had to move states to find employment and affordable housing. Most of my relatives blamed me for ruining the family's reputation, specifically my mother's side, the aunt I'm referring to. She spread rumors about me and insulted me on many occasions and kept talking to my ex and feeding him all my information, which is insane.
Wow.
Of the aunt to do. That's crazy.
Why is she upset? Is she upset because OP divorced
I don't know.
someone who cheated on them?
I had to go through court battles for custody for my children by myself while this aunt supported my ex, spreading rumors and helping him gain custody for 2 years. Finally, I managed to get custody of my children, and we are happy. Recently, my aunt has been calling me and requesting financial support and asking me to help her children get jobs. So I told her to go and ask from my ex who she supported. I don't know if I am the a-hole here, but my mother thinks it was unnecessary and I should have supported it. So Reddit, tell me, am I the a-hole? Oh my God.
One,
I am so sorry you could ever think you're the a-hole in this situation.
you don't owe money to anyone, even family. Facts. And someone who went behind your back, who was trying to go against you in legal court battles with your ex, and who was spreading rumors about you, has the audacity to ask for money.
Literally, a key piece of why you didn't have custody of your children for 2 years just came around and was like, money please, money
And
me,
you're like,
money me need now.
Get out of my face.
Who are you?
Get out of my face.
You're my enemy. Whoa, I didn't expect so many supportive responses. Thank you guys. After reading your responses, I realized I wasn't wrong to refuse to help, and I'm going to stay firm in my decision. When I posted here, I was having doubts. In my culture, we are expected to respect the elders, even if they are total a-holes. And because my mother was trying to guilt trip me, my mom always guilt trips me to get her way. And right now, I don't want that toxicity in my life. So thanks to you guys, I'm decided I'm going to cut contact with my aunt and her family, and I'm going low contact with my parents for a while. I'm meeting my mother for lunch tomorrow and letting her know my decision, and we will gradually start to address the issue in our relationship and try to mend it. There is probably going to be water work, name calling, and telling me how much of an ungrateful child I am, but I'm going to stay firm in my decision.
Shout out OP.
Yes,
I
shout
love
out.
someone.
Stay firm. I will update you guys if anything interesting happens. You guys are amazing, and something interesting definitely happened because we've got an update.
We got an update, baby.
So we are going to go do a Scrooge McDuck dive head first into the treasure trove that is OP's update. Hey guys, I have an update and it's a long one and hopefully the final one. So I called my mom and asked her to meet me for coffee the other day to discuss something important. I didn't tell her the reason deliberately because I was afraid she'd bring my aunt and try to gaslight me, and I didn't want to deal with that. So we met at a cafe close to my workplace. And after small talk, I told her I need to discuss how I feel about my aunt's behavior towards me and the entire situation. First, I told her it was hurtful that my own mother dismissed the hurt and damage my aunt caused me back then. And she speaks as if it wasn't a big deal. Mom didn't take it well and said my aunt is a brutally honest person and she intentionally would not cause me harm. And I should have been more understanding of the situation because family comes first. Oh, if family comes first, you should tell the aunt that, who was taking the side of OP's abusive ex. Sorry, was he already family?
I hate that sentiment. It's like your needs and pain don't matter because family matters more.
Yeah, it's
It makes me upset.
it's the logic there doesn't hold up at all.
It makes me really upset.
I couldn't believe what she said. I told her she spread rumors about me, supported my ex during the custody battle, and now she wants my help?
Yes.
How is that helping? And where the family comes first, and where was the family comes first rule when I was struggling alone financially and emotionally while working, trying to complete a degree, and fighting a custody battle? She said, quote, "You're always so dramatic. Can't you just let it go?"
Oh, so
Which is
dismissive.
Again, yeah.
So dismissive.
I told her, this isn't about being dramatic. This is about protecting myself and my children from toxicity. I showed her all the hurtful text messages my aunt and my cousins had sent me during my divorce, calling me a stupid which I want a stupid gardening tool for leaving a rich husband and destroying the family's reputation, blaming me. It's my fault that my ex abused me. As a woman, I should have known how to keep a man.
Pull up the receipts.
Sorry, I was
Grappling
just
with these
my flabbers are gasted by that.
Yeah.
So
100%. Show your mom. I mean, and she is, but
She
that's
is,
great.
right now.
It's like, look at this. This is wild. If family comes first, this is not what that is.
OP says she was surprised when she saw the text because my aunt had told her an entire different story. She has convinced my mother that she's trying to get my ex and me to sort things out before going into a divorce because of the kids. And she had just advised me, but I blew up on her and my cousins, so she talked to my ex to convince him to go to family therapy, and all she did was in good faith. So
No.
she's a
She's
horrible
lying.
liar.
She's lying to her sister.
So I told her she betrayed me and you supported her. Do you have any idea how much that hurt? It is hurting that you believe her sister without even asking my side of the story and decide I'm in the wrong and unreasonable. And I don't understand why you refuse to see what kind of a leech and horrible person the aunt is. My mom started crying and told me she's always looking out for her sister because when they lost their father, my aunt was just 6 years old and my mom was 15. Because grandma was working long hours, my mother was the one who was taking care of her, so she basically raised my aunt and became a second mother to her. So she got parentified. And grandma passed away when my aunt was 20, so she is the only family she has left.
Okay, that is useful context.
Complicated. It's always more complicated than the surface will tell you. So I asked her, why isn't she and dad helping her with money? Apparently, she owes my mom and dad a lot of money already, and dad has refused to help and told her to return the money she owes them back, and has told mom if she gives money to my aunt again, she can go and live with my aunt because he's done being a cash cow for her sister.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X's. But let's get back to the story.
So she thought I would help my aunt to pay back the money she owes to dad, and later on she could convince dad to help her again. Which, by the way, it sounds like you're facilitating or enabling a negative behavior in your sister.
She is, because she's parentified and like has these extra protective triggers around her sister.
Yeah. So she said she knows my aunt's way of dealing with situations is different, and she's sorry my aunt was a bit harsh to me, but she didn't mean any harm. That's how she is. Now she's stressed of raising her kids alone because her deadbeat husband has left her to fend for herself, and we should be more understanding of her situation because as a single mother, I know how hard it is. I was trying hard not to break down in front of her. I said, no, she hurt me deeply, and I can't just forgive and forget. You weren't there when I needed you most. You are defending the aunt who made me feel like I was the one in the wrong at my lowest and was fighting for my children alone. Thank you for standing on business.
Yes.
Thank you.
Pop off. Exactly what needed to be said.
Yes. I told her that I love her, but I need to do this for my own sanity. I need some space to heal, and I can't keep doing this. I'm done with the manipulation, the emotional blackmailing, and gaslighting, and now I need to protect myself and my children.
I'm so proud of the boundary setting in all these stories. This is amazing stuff.
This is a very good way to go about this. I need to cut out the toxicity, so I'm going no contact with her. And I'm telling dad about the conversation we had today. Also, I will be canceling the credit card I have given her to help with bills and groceries because I'm sure she's using that to spend on my aunt. But I will keep paying for the health insurance because I don't want them not to be able to get medical treatment. And that's it.
Wow. So not only is
Measured response.
not only is the mom like, hey, you need to give money to the aunt, but OP is already like financially supporting the mom right now. And
Which I think culturally is kind of expected wherever they are. I'm not sure where, but there was a comment at the beginning of this story. The OP said like culturally it is expected to kind of jump. You say when, for the elders in your family.
Yeah.
So she pleaded with me to not tell dad, and she'll return the credit card back to me because things are already not so great between her and dad because of this. I told her I'll think about it, and please don't try to contact me until I decide to talk to her. If she needs the situation to change, maybe in 1 or 2 years, if I feel so, we can try family therapy and try to have a relationship. But right now I need space from all of them. She was just crying and saying I've misunderstood the whole thing. Look at that. She's still refusing to acknowledge you. She's just trying to say that you're understanding wrong. It's like, no, you're just not hearing me when I say my aunt straight up was basically abusive to me. Like in my lowest point, she sided with the devil essentially, and I was chopped liver. So
OP is saying, I'm in pain. I was hurt. I was betrayed by this person. And the mom goes, You just don't get. You're misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was a
It's
miscommunication.
so whack for her to say that, and that's, again, go ahead and go no contact for a couple years. I just got up after she said that and walked away and paid the bill, and I was on my way out.
Sure.
I knew no matter what I achieved, how much I helped them, or how forgiving I am towards them, I was just a disappointment to them, and I held the place of the emergency ATM in her life. After reaching home, I couldn't hold on, and I just broke down, realizing my parents don't care about me and think so little of me is a hard pill to swallow, and that is rough. We all have a breaking point, but you know what? I don't even know if that's the case. I think maybe your parents just don't have the tools in the tool belt to care for you in the way that you need.
I agree.
I'm sure they care about you.
I think it has more to do with the mom's relationship with her sister.
Right.
And her being placed in a role where she needs to protect her and defend her and can't come out of that mentality to see the pain that her own daughter is having. I don't think it's a lack of
been programmed.
care. I think it's just her brain is like stuck in this configuration and can't get out. And it is very hurtful and awful at the same time, and you have every right to not want to be in a relationship like that.
So if that is how they feel about me, I'm going to prioritize my family, me, my son, and my daughter, and move on. And by the way, if you're feeling like you want to move on from here, you can move over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where you can listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to whatever podcast platform you prefer and search OK Storytime.
And maybe
And there you will find us.
they'll have less triggers.
I feel like we could kind of get away with no triggers on this because it was just at the very top.
Yeah,
It didn't
that's
really
fair.
go in any detail about it. It was just the context.
It's more.
But as we got out of it, I think,
I'm speaking.
on that
Okay.
last story. But my God, we do have a little bit of story left. I think we've spoken our piece about this. I think
Yep.
we know exactly where we stand here.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and finish it off.
Hit it.
So, and I'm not going to tell my dad about my mom and aunt's plan for the money. He never once supported me or defended me, so he can deal with it. And honestly, I don't care. Not my circus, not my monkeys. I will miss them for sure, especially on holidays, but they are just toxic, and my dignity is more important to me. So for Christmas, me and the kids are going on vacation to some tropical country
Ooh, you
and
deserve
enjoying the holidays.
You deserve it.
It sounds like a W for OP. Simplify. Yes. Thank you guys for convincing me I wasn't wrong in my decision and helping me realize how toxic my parents were. And that is the end of that story.
Good job for
Beautiful.
setting boundaries.
Mwah.
Good job for treating yourself. In the wise words of Parks and Rec, treat yourself.
Treat yourself.